Inspector, you didn't send anyone, and you promised to. I have something to tell. Yes, I'm going in a few minutes.
That one.
Inspector.
In a world where tomorrow's blockbusters reign
and yesterday's classics are forgotten,
3 women intend to remember. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Millennials at the Movie House, the podcast where your average Janes watch older movies and answer the question we've put to ourselves. Are they still relevant, and should we still be watching them today?
I'm Betsy.
and I'm Serena.
And I'm Tracy, and I'm taking over this week because it's my birthday.
It's her birthday. She can cry if she wants to.
Which I almost did when Betsy almost scared the shit out of me during this movie.
I didn't mean to. I did mean to.
Happy birthday, keeping you young.
Today we are talking about Night Watch. It is a 1973 horror movie.
It is not a 2008 Russian fantasy movie.
It is actually based on a Broadway play that was, I think it was on Broadway for 4 months in 1972. And the playwright is actually credited as a writer for this.
This would be interesting on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, continue.
I mean, well, we'll get into it, but yeah. So it starred Elizabeth Taylor, Lawrence Harvey, and Billy Whitlaw. And Robert Lang. I don't know if he was the inspector or the
Mr.
neighbor.
Appleby.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for you to say Betsy go.
Oh,
Yeah.
switch! And the director was Brian Hutton. Betsy, go!
I'm like, she's not going to say Serena go. My notes are skim.
Oh, man. Okay, it's about a woman's slow descent into insanity, or is it?
Dun, dun,
When-
dun.
When she witnesses a murder through her window and nobody believes her. There you go.
State of
See?
crazy making.
Yeah.
Boom.
Wow,
Done.
that was a quick one.
Done.
One and done. Usually, like, that's a quick 2 sentences, and I'm out. Betsy's out.
So, like I said, it was based on the 1972 Broadway play. And with the screenplay, the movie, they also brought in influences from the movie Gaslight, which was 1944.
Which I do want to watch.
Gaslight.
I want to see it.
Which is gaslighting, the terminology, crazy making.
That's
That was once in the psychology books and may no longer be. But
Exactly.
Gaslight. Okay, did we talk about this?
We did. I think
Okay.
we brought it up in maybe Cat People. It is a movie that we want to watch.
right. Because that is
Gaslight?
where the term came from. That's where the term came from.
So, what did everybody think about it?
I liked it.
I really liked it too. So
I'm a fan. Yeah.
Sorry, Serena's a fan. I picked this movie because I was just searching older movies to watch, and I decided I didn't want to watch a movie that I had seen before. I feel like I'm very biased to movies I've seen before.
Yeah.
Where
It's hard not to
It's
be.
hard not to pick up. Not that we pick apart movies, but once I have an opinion that this is the greatest movie ever, you can't convince me otherwise.
Right. And yeah, you get very defensive if somebody else is critical of it. Yeah. That's fair.
So I saw the description of this and was like, okay, that's a big name actress with a movie I've never heard of. Let's go.
Let me ask, has anyone seen an Elizabeth Taylor movie before? This was
No.
my first one as
I don't
well.
think so I put that in my notes under. Well, that's at the very end.
This
but-
was, I did a little trivia, or I did a little research on it. I didn't look up the plot. I just want to let you know. But this is her one and only horror movie.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I wrote that down after you said
Yeah.
that. As reason to why folks may want to partake in watching it.
I almost feel like I want to go on an Elizabeth Taylor marathon a little bit after
Yeah, I
this.
really like her.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to see Cleopatra.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm surprised I haven't. I'm going to add that to the list, too.
And honestly, that's the only movie I can think of that she's, off the top of my head, that she's in.
I know, right? I mean, I know it's Elizabeth Taylor. Like,
Right.
she's uber famous, but...
I'm shocked that this is my first Elizabeth Taylor movie, but I'm happy I watched it. I liked it.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny that I kept expecting it to change because Betsy, you're like, because I asked, I go, can we watch this? Not that I need permission. Maybe I do.
Yeah, no, we need Betsy.
Is this a good one for the podcast? And Betsy's like, yes, but I don't think you're going to like it because I
So,
think you had done some research.
I had Googled it. I had looked it up on IMDb. And on IMDb, it was tagged as a Giallo film, which is known for its sensationalist visuals. So extra gore, extra eroticism, that type of stuff in a murder mystery. And I'm not a fan of that. And I don't think you are
No,
either,
I'm
Tracy.
not.
I don't like the gore.
Yeah.
I didn't get a lot of that though.
Right. It did at the end, that one, the one
Yeah.
scene at the end.
Yeah.
But other than
Yeah.
that, really not.
I'm more. I don't mind the gore. I don't like excessive, like unbelievable. When it hits that
Yeah.
unbelievable point, I'm just like
Like
what
spewing
is
spewing
the-
blood out of a neck artery.
Right. I'm like, what is the point of this? This is not real to me. This is
Yeah.
now you've taken me out of the movie and I can't get back in.
Right.
So
You're like, I'm now uninterested.
right. Okay. Top of the marquee. What was your favorite part, scene, movie, line, character, setting?
My
showing
favorite.
off?
Can I start?
Yes,
Sure,
please.
Betsy, you can start.
Thank you. So I have two. Of course, I have two. Have I ever had not two, or at least multiple?
I feel like we
You
do two to
definitely
have
do.
one and then have a backup.
right, exactly.
And,
Good
and
planning,
it's
ladies.
special because it's like, this was good, but this was better.
That's exactly it. So I'm gonna start with the good and
Okay.
then go to the better.
Okay.
My first favorite part was Mr. Applebee's mustache, because
It was
let's be honest, that was
an excellent mustache.
it was epic.
He
It was
definitely
hell
waxes it.
of a-
Like
yeah.
not waxes it off, uses wax to mold it into
Oh, yeah.
shape. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Great stash.
He reminded me of
Somebody from Clue.
somebody.
You know what's- I'm with you. He reminded me of someone, and I had to look through his entire filmography, and I don't know him from anything.
Isn't it so frustrating when you do that? I've done that multiple times.
Yeah,
on
it's insanity.
Yeah.
Anyway.
so many occasions.
So it must be just he reminds me of somebody.
Yeah.
And I don't know who the somebody
He's got
is.
that familiar face.
Yeah.
He does. It was also the accent and his mannerisms.
My actual favorite part was the phone call at the end. Ellen's phone call to the
Oh,
inspector.
Yes,
at the end.
that's my
was
favorite part.
amazing.
Same with Serena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm putting phone call as specification.
Oh.
What? That wasn't your
No,
favorite
I
part?
just did the discovery.
Oh,
We
yeah.
all, yeah, okay.
Okay.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
and
I
it
stole
was.
everybody.
No,
No,
But
that
because
was
it
epic.
just-
It was the best part.
the best part.
It literally took it. It forced us not to take over, but it forced us to see. Okay, all this time, I don't know about you guys, but I was like, oh, poor Ellen and these pieces of poo on the side, doing
Yeah.
this sneaky affair, and oh, she's really feeling crazy. She's probably not even crazy. She's just like in hysterics.
Yeah.
And then we see, and that scene takes us, and they're like, oh, and then she stops to take a drag of her cigarette. I'm like, Ellen's here.
Yeah.
Ellen's here.
Yeah.
And
And
I love that.
It was the cry too. She had that like, you know how when you were actually
Yeah.
like that real
Yeah.
cry voice where you can't
Yeah.
quite catch
the
your
children,
breath.
the children do it all
Yeah.
the time.
And then that pause and that look and the face and the cigarette, and you were just like, yeah.
Like almost like two different
was.
personalities. And I was like, maybe she is mentally ill, and maybe it's split personality.
I was
or
like,
multiple
she's
personalities.
the bad guy. I don't know how Billie Eilish, how does that go? I was like,
I'm the bad guy.
that was good.
That was good.
That was really good.
I hate that song, but it works perfect.
If they had ended it at her murdering them, I would have still thought it was open for interpretation. Did she
Oh, she's-
descend into madness, or did she have it
Yes.
planned all
Yeah.
along? Whatever. It was the scene after it that it was like, oh, she planned this the whole time. And it was the reason why we had to go back to the beginning and kind of watch it through the first few minutes to see that she was aware the whole time.
Yep.
And she was making this plan.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was her husband's cheeks in the shower. It was.
It was.
I like.
Confirmation.
We never got confirmation.
We didn't.
Was sorry.
Like you were saying about you didn't know if she was crazy yet or not. In the killing, there was flashbacks to her first husband's mistress.
Right, but I don't think it was she believed that she was killing the mistress. I think it was a representation of, you're another mistress, I'm going to kill you as well.
Right.
You know?
I
So-
don't think I would have gotten there if she hadn't had that last scene.
The following scene.
Yes.
Yes.
So, quick question. I probably should have asked this before, but did Carl, husband number 1, did he die in a car accident?
Yeah.
That was a real thing. That wasn't like a figment of her imagination to be okay with the fact that maybe she killed both of them herself.
I did have that thought.
It was-
but I don't
It
know.
just-
I
it-
think we. I
It
don't know.
seemed more like it was a flashback, and then she openly kind of admitted to Dr. Tony or whoever that she was more upset in a way finding out about the mistress than she was about his death. Which is, I mean,
Right.
I can't blame her.
There's a quote to go along with that. When she was identifying the bodies, he said, and she was more upset about the affair than the accident. He goes, and she says there was more lipstick on his clothes than blood.
Yeah. But
So-
the fact that she was having flashbacks, does that mean she may or may not have had like a PTSD kind of psychotic break for a period of time and then kind of just came back to, okay, well, they're dead now. Let me just make arrangements.
I think she was genuinely upset about Carl's death, and the affair caught her off guard. And then when it was
And then
John and Sarah, she was like, no, I'm not letting this happen to me again. I'm taking control.
Well, and
And
then,
then
there's,
her heart turned black.
then there's also, I think it's the third time it's happened because she goes into a whole monologue about her father and why did he need anything else? So I think her father was having an affair as well.
True, because we did
Yeah.
assume the flashbacks
Was her
was
father
her
at
father first.
Yeah, that's true.
So
The most disturbing thing out of this entire movie was not the throat cutting. It was how young the mistress was of the first husband.
Right.
Because she was like 16. She
yeah,
looked like she was 16.
She looked very young.
Maybe.
How
16.
long had John and Ellen been married? Like, it could have been when they were very young. You know what I mean? Although Carl looked old.
Yeah, Carl did.
Yeah,
look
like significant. Like at first I was like, wait, daughter? Like I was
Yeah.
confused. I was like, what? Like that thrown
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, but like after that scene, if we didn't have that
This-
final, I
right.
would have still absolutely thought that there was, some psychotic break
Yeah,
of sorts.
it was the last scene that just wrapped everything up so well.
Oh, I loved it.
Serena, did you have another favorite part you
I'm
wanted
so
to talk
sorry,
about?
I stole it.
No, that's okay. Wait, was that? Oh, that was you did your good and great. Okay.
Good and great.
My good and great. Do you have a good or great? Do you have a good?
My favorite scene was obviously what we're chatting about, the discovery, which I guess is the phone call.
Yes.
It's just perfect, and the way they did it, and throughout the movie, I was like, if like I don't know, what was I yelling about? I was like, if we'll have to find it.
Yeah.
If this movie ends, and she ends up in Switzerland, crazy town, whatever, I was like, I'm gonna be so mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were on like the edge of our seats. Like we
I
had
literally was
theories
on the edge of the seat.
upon theories upon theories about, and we
I
were
was
like,
writing them down.
we need to know.
All right, we're gonna try. We're gonna
right.
see how this goes.
We're so determined to guess what it is.
Yeah, it's gonna be the most mundane.
It is.
one,
It's gonna be
too.
so stupid because we try to make it difficult.
Yeah. You mean better?
We need to know how this movie ends.
Yeah.
Right, and going towards that, I feel like
I
it
was getting hysterical.
it felt interactive. I felt like the movie wanted us to be guessing and wanted us to be figuring it out, which I understand that that's what mysteries do.
Yeah.
But I feel like mysteries nowadays are like, let's throw you enough fake clues that you'll never actually figure it out.
Yeah.
So now when I watch modern day mysteries, I'm like, I'm never gonna get it because there's gonna be so many convoluted theories.
Yeah.
This, I was like, I feel like they are sprinkling in the actual clues and that we could figure this out if we pay attention hard enough.
Yeah.
And we can get there.
And we got close.
We did, yes.
I have
good.
some theories written down, which we kind of figured out, and we don't have to like jump the gun. But the whole thing about like the Sarah possibly poisoning her, or not giving her
Right.
really her meds,
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yep.
Yep.
I think that
Dosing.
was part of it all, like driving her crazy. I think that was all part of it. Sorry, again on this scene, it was just so good. At one point, I had mentioned that I was like, her acting is really good, and then it becomes bad when she goes into hysterics. And I was like,
Yeah.
it was almost fake, and I'm like, I didn't quite get it. And
on
Betsy,
purpose.
you had said, oh, I think that's just the way that they're acting
Right.
hysterical. That's
Right.
just the way that.
It was very 40s, 50s hysteria.
Yeah.
type of-
Bloody murder screaming to the point where I think your speakers of your TV were like about to blow.
Yes. Yes.
Like there was that.
it was like, but it was all of a sudden, it was very like,
Hands on
hands
the face.
on the head. And,
Oh my
but like, but if the whole movie was like that, then I'd be like, okay, that's just this kind of a movie. But it was like amazing acting, and then this horrible, and I was like, oh, okay, I guess that's. I didn't pick up on the fact that she was pretending, or,
Yeah.
So that was, I was happy about that.
Yeah.
That was great.
I think if we were to watch this whole movie the entire way through
Yeah.
a second time, we would pick up on so many little subtle. It wasn't obvious.
Right.
They weren't like blatant tips, and
Yeah.
they were
Because-
subtle. Even Carl's things in the drawer thing, like obviously now we know it was her.
And they had us so focused on John and Sarah
Yeah.
that
Yep.
we weren't thinking that she had planned it all along, or
Yeah.
she knew what she was doing the whole time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh, there was some planning and
Yeah.
plotting.
This is a 2-watch movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the classic Boy Who Cried Wolf, and she did it on purpose.
Yep, so
Yeah.
clever.
It was really clever.
Sneaky Pete.
So my good part compared to my great
Sorry.
part,
Yep.
Sorry.
I love that dress she wore.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
it was just like a house dress.
It
What
was like a
that?
robe, a house robe type dress type. Yeah.
Any other favorite parts that we want to discuss? Oh, this is one of my favorite type movies. I'm glad I picked this. This was great, and it was ironically one of the types of movies I like because it was dialogue driven. It was character driven. You didn't need a lot of the fancy effects or I don't know. It was you paid attention. We had it on closed captions as always. And some of the one-liners, I couldn't even get them all. I only got like one or two, but they were great. So that was good.
The shadows, and there was a few scenes that did still, like, the movie was good without it, but it definitely added to the
And the music, and yeah.
extreme music.
At the beginning of the movie, I feel like we were all on our phones a little bit and trying to take notes a little bit. And by, I want to say, 20 to 30 minutes in, none of us had anything out because we knew that it was so dialogue driven that if we looked away for a second, we were going to miss something.
Well,
Yep.
that's why I was like, every time I was even looking down to write a note, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just going to skip notes and pay super close attention. And then find quotes that I like later.
The timed game that I was playing on my phone, I lost because I was paying attention to the movie instead.
Was this a word?
You're welcome.
Sacrificed a game.
I sacrificed a
for
game.
us.
I went back to try to get quotes from this. This movie was so hard to find. We rented it from Amazon. I literally drove to like one of the last movie stores to rent it. They didn't have it. I couldn't find it at my library. And apologies to those of you trying to find this movie. But it's worth it. But trying to even just find quotes or
Right.
information on this.
When I look it up on IMDb, obviously the Russian movie comes up first, and then another like 3 or 4 movies that are not the exact title of Night Watch before Night Watch comes out.
Right. So here's
So this
another
is
example
a
of
obscurity.
it falling into
Yeah.
obscurity, and it really
a
shouldn't.
hidden gem.
It is really good. All of us were really, really liked it. Okay, ladies, please remove your hats and silence your cell phones. Aspects that did and did not age well. Bets?
Well, aspects that did age well are things I think we've already discussed, which is the engagement it evokes from the audience. It's
Yes.
a great mystery story. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. So the ambiance is there. Things that didn't age well, I'm going to say her hair.
Yeah, okay.
I like
There was
it
one
best.
style I really liked on her.
Yes.
But
And it's a different one than I really liked. I liked
Right.
the all the way,
it was
all
like
the way down hair.
teased up.
You
Yeah.
liked the bob. Serena, you liked the bob.
I
in
liked the all the way
flashbacks.
down.
Oh.
No,
yeah.
I like the bob in the
Oh.
flashback.
She liked the
Oh.
bob. Bob. She liked Bob.
I like Bob.
But I liked her
Hi,
hair,
Bob.
like,
We do
all-
like you.
Bob's our number one fan.
I think you might
Bob's
be.
Agwin.
Hey, Bob.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, no, I loved her hair down. I was like, oh, she's like she got pretty boo going.
Okay. Side note, speaking of hair, when she was, becoming a murderess.
Oh yeah.
Her hair came unhinged.
Yes, it did.
Look at her hair. It's come unhinged. It's come unhinged.
But wait, then she showered off the murder. The next morning, she was rehinged.
She
was
looked good in
hinged
that
back
last
together
Oh,
in
yeah.
her white
Oh, yeah.
jumpsuit.
Oh yeah.
Slick Rick.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's dead next door decomposing. What do you mean?
Which is interesting, actually, if you can kind of take the progression of her outfits and hair
Yeah.
throughout the movie, because I even feel like at the beginning she was a little frumpy and very housewifey
There's a moo
because it was part of the act. It was part of that shtick. And then at the end is
She
when
was-
she was like poised and like put together and like very
all white, clean.
So I'm gonna.
Yes.
Clean.
Yes, I agree with you. Except the first scene when she's buying roses, she is put together, and then she goes and puts roses in her backyard, and she looks up at the house. And when we had kind of started rewatching it, I think Serena, you had said, "Oh, this is where she gets the idea. This is the plan."
The seed
But we
is
don't
planted.
really know. Is that where is she together? And then from there, she does do she wears the muumuus and except for that dress. I'm sorry.
You like the
That
dress.
dress was fabulous.
liked
I'm gonna
that
tweet
she-
pictures
Yeah.
every day.
Can we tweet a picture of the red sheer jumpsuit?
I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
Red like
honest,
blood.
No,
Okay.
oh,
I
that one.
I googled Night Watch Elizabeth Taylor robe. Like, you cannot find an image
You
of
can't find anything about this. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to take stills before the rental returns.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Can you please? Thanks.
Yeah. So, wondering where she got the idea. I feel like in today's movies, we would have seen, and it goes back to, we followed it. We got it. We were in on it. We followed it. We got it at the end. And we could go back and trace all of the pieces. Where in today's movies, it's so convoluted where they would have to have that scene where you see them piece it together and show
Yes.
you how they do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a today movie thing. This was creatively written.
Yeah.
It was. And it
Definitely.
assumed its audience was relatively intelligent.
Yes.
And paying attention.
Yeah.
and
which you
not
can't
distracted.
assume
Can't
in
assume
today's
today.
movies.
It
Not
has
the
to be easily digestible.
Yes.
And you can still follow a plot line even if you're on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
What
Sorry.
aspects that did not age well? I have a couple more notes. The not believing women because she's just hysterical.
So-
I have that
but
in here
I mean,
too.
I guess that's still today. Nobody believes what women says until a man comes and says nope.
So
Hysterical
you
female.
found this because of Gaslight, is that right?
No, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how I found this. I was
Okay.
looking at just a list of old movies.
I feel like it is related to Gaslight.
Yeah.
And it's it's almost a response to Gaslight, because the whole point is she's like, well, you're not going to believe me anyway. I might as well use that to my advantage.
Yes. Yeah.
So she really just plays that system, that patriarchal men don't believe women system to her advantage. And
Yep.
you know what? Tough.
Yep. And we were like, yes. Yeah.
I love
So
it.
yes. And here's another friend psychologist that
Yes.
who has
All these husbands
Yeah.
have male psychologist friends.
just in their pocket they have a guy for a guy.
Did you
Okay.
did anybody have anything else for that one?
For aspects.
Yeah.
So the comment that John, is that his name?
Yep,
John
John.
makes when his secretary says the inspector has called, or the detective has called 2 times. Well, what have you been getting into, John? And he goes, raping secretaries.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay. To that flash forward to 2020, you're going to jail now. Like,
Yeah.
nobody says, I mean, not really, but you know,
Yeah. That's
you would
not,
be immediately removed from the company,
Oh,
even if you
would
owned
never
the
even have-
company.
yeah.
Like,
So,
yeah.
you'd have lawsuits on you so fast of harassment.
On the other side of that, the scene preceding it, aspects that did age well is her pranking him in the shower.
I almost like didn't see the point of that, and then I'm like waiting for us to know what the person looks like, not just his butt cheeks, because we want to know if Barry was real. Barry was for the listeners who weren't paying attention, Barry is the made up cover for John.
Oh yeah, we didn't even say Sarah is a friend staying with them who
Oh, yeah.
John is having the affair with.
Right.
And
Blonde skank bimbo.
yeah.
I mean,
So, and she tells her friend Ellen that she is having an affair with a married man. She just didn't tell her that it's her husband.
Yeah, yeah. Sarah was like the best actress of them all.
Right?
Dang.
yeah, she had some things
Right.
up her sleeves.
That's another thing about the difference between this movie and a movie made now, which I feel like the acting would have been, quote, believable, not really believable. They would have done sideways glances or like, oh,
Yes.
no, I actually mean this. Like they
Yes.
they over exaggerate when they want
We
the
didn't know.
audience
We didn't
In
know.
on the joke.
Exactly.
We didn't
Yeah.
know. I
There's-
didn't know.
There's not a hint.
No.
Sarah and John the entire time do not break.
Until they kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
then
And
I
the
was
kiss
like,
is
yeah.
the only proof.
And even then, we were like, well, we still don't know who's in the shower. Maybe this is something else. We
Right.
don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, because they deny it until they, like, up until their death, they deny it.
Yeah.
By the way, who takes a shower like that with their ass cheeks hanging out, the curtain half open?
He likes a draft.
He wants it dropped, but the water's coming from over here, and he's like facing this way. At least that's
It's
what I
in,
got.
like, I want to say, like, in romance movies, like, the wedding date, he has his ass hanging out. I think it's for us. It's for the
Of
ladies.
course
You're
it's for
welcome.
us.
You're welcome. No, I was just like, I think you're not even facing the water, fine sir. And he needs a leg day. Just saying.
Wait a minute. How this movie has influenced modern movies. I'm going to add in other movies, not
Okay.
just modern.
Because it's your birthday.
Yeah, and I do what
you
I
can
want.
do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's her birthday.
I definitely saw influences potentially bleed into Get Out. I definitely
Okay.
feel like I saw some visual parallels, some cinematography parallels.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Betsy.
I know. I know.
is here.
I'm usually better with older movies. Picking out older movies it relates to compared to
Like
newer.
Rear Window is very. There were a
Was
lot
that
of
Hitchcock?
yeah.
I
there
got
were
a lot
Rear
of
Window.
Hitchcock feels to this. At one point, I thought to myself, maybe this whole crazy dialogue, everything, is not going to be what we think it is, and we're going to enter a supernatural aspect to it.
Yeah.
Very much like The Birds. I thought like that it started out normal with conversation about things and going on vacation or whatever, and then bam, this weird whatever is going to hit.
Yep. Going back to your love for that one dress, it gave me uber Olivia Crane vibes from Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've ever seen that, spoiler, all right,
I have.
if you've never seen that, spoiler alert, the mother kind of goes insane. And she ended up with these vintage robes and her hair got really frazzled. And I know that those are very,
Unhinged.
yes, I know they're very
Nice, the hair.
tropey, but it was very similar.
I don't
Yeah.
think I saw the whole series of that. How many episodes are in there?
13? 10, maybe? 10.
I might only be like 5 or 6 in. It's
I
fine.
have-
Watch it. I love that series.
It's
I'm
not
gonna
too
have to
scary.
No. Well, I mean, define what's your level of
I don't
scary.
The mummy returns when his face is in the big water. All right. No, I started watching it and then I don't know why we stopped. Is it on? What channel is it on?
Netflix.
Oh, it's on the Netflix channel. Perfect. I have that channel.
I couldn't think of anything modern, but it made me think of Gaslight. What I know of it, I haven't actually seen it. But more so, it reminded me of Cat People, where you had the wife and husband, and then the woman who's a friend, but not really. They're having an affair. You have the friend who's the psychologist who tries to commit the woman, and the wife is actually right. She's not crazy.
Well, she is and she isn't.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
She's part cat.
She's aware of what she's doing.
Yeah,
She's
I mean,
part
you know, and she kills people. I mean,
Is what
She
it
is a
is.
panther
whatever,
cousin
you
in the
know,
zoo.
you gotta-
Yeah, do what you
Panther
gotta do.
cousin in the zoo.
It also reminded me of Psycho, which is also Alfred Hitchcock.
Yep.
And it had every time a knife was in the scene, it had that music that
Yeah,
like
it did.
somewhere in the background. It was very
Especially at the end when she was stabbing Ellen.
Ellen was
no.
stabbing Sarah.
Ellen was stabbing Sarah. It had that
Yeah.
in the music.
Yeah. I would be curious to look because Psycho, I think it was in the 70s, wasn't it?
No, it was 60s.
Oh, okay. All right. So it was before. Okay. So
Yeah.
this was definitely.
Oh yeah, this was definitely
Okay.
after that.
Yeah.
The Shining,
Oh right,
Similar?
there
Yep,
was that
there
moment.
was that. Yep.
but that's not Hitchcock.
No,
No,
that's
but
Kubrick.
Oh, I was gonna say Stephen King.
I know, that's why
Well,
I was
it
like,
was
wait a
Stephen
minute.
King.
That's why I was
Yeah.
like, isn't it? Okay.
Speaking of literature, I also remember reading The Yellow Wallpaper.
Yes.
And in that scene where she's going to
She's
kill
in the
people,
house
or
going to the
she hasn't
room.
killed them yet. She's going to the house, and I was like, wow, you're still thinking maybe she is crazy. And she walks past this ripped yellow wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kept saying, yellow wallpaper, wallpaper. Why is this like a thing to me? And Betsy's like, yes, it is a book about a woman going crazy. And I'm like, okay, all right, thank you. I'm not going crazy. Thank you for confirming I'm not going crazy.
Am I in Crazy Town?
Yeah.
That's
so
the real genius of this movie. It makes the audience go insane.
Well, you did make comments on the wallpaper, and just I think you
Yeah.
both are making comments on like the condition of that old and abandoned house, which was bought by Diplo, which was owned by
Them.
John
Oh,
and Ellen.
yes, that brings me to a good point where we didn't know the amount that Sarah and John were setting up Ellen until he was like, okay, we finally agreed that we're committing you. We're going to fly off to Switzerland so you can go, I don't know, crazy. Let me just have you sign these tax forms.
The second he said that, we were like, nope,
There
that's
it
it.
is.
So you guys caught on to that, and I was not to tune you out, but I was literally like, I don't want to miss anything,
You were
so I
so
was
focused.
ignoring you guys a little, and it was like laser beam focused, and then I was like, wait, what's this? What's this?
Yeah.
And then you guys were like, welcome to the party.
It wasn't that much later because I think you
It
were
was, like,
you were
right after.
concentrating on reading what the paperwork
Yeah,
said.
I was.
And you didn't. I don't know if you heard the dialogue that they had, but you were reading what was on screen. And when you saw the Diplo, you
Yeah.
were like, "There it is."
I
All right,
love it.
note roundup, which we've kind of been doing this whole time. Just other thoughts that we've had. Anything else that we want to say? I have one last note, and it's just like a coincidence. I haven't done a jigsaw puzzle in years. And we started doing one
Yesterday.
like yesterday.
It's underneath
And-
this entire podcast.
Yeah,
It is.
We're
It's-
literally podcasting on top of it right now.
And Serena, I don't think you saw this, but check out the cover of it.
Wow.
It's like
It's
about
a murder mystery.
It's a murder mystery,
like books.
like femme noir, like film noir
Yeah.
type, femme fatale type
wow.
jigsaw that we're doing.
I don't even know what to say to this because it's like a coincidence, but maybe it's your subconscious was like, you know?
we
maybe
knew
this
we
is
were gonna
where-
watch this.
I was
She
forewarning the both of you that this is the night I kill both of you.
yeah.
Oh, right.
This is
Okay,
it.
great.
This
you-
is it.
Notice any missing knives in that?
Yeah. We cleared out a good space in the basement just
Yeah,
today.
there's, like, a
it's
grave
ready
ready.
to go.
All right. The martini shot. Would you recommend it?
Yes.
I mean, yes. I was a little worried because I'm like, I literally randomly picked this movie. I kind of like the description of it. I didn't, other than the who the director was and when it was made. I really didn't do more than that because I didn't want to. I wanted to not know,
Yeah.
and it was solid.
It was really
so solid,
solid.
and it
Oh,
just
so I loved it.
Yeah.
Right up
disappoints
your-
me
right up
so
your alley.
much that it is so hard to find. People don't know it.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was
And
great.
you're right. I do feel bad that we picked it and it's not inaccessible.
I mean,
I was actually going to ask about that. Like, how many movies have we put out that are even?
Yeah, I know.
Like-
We should try to gear more towards that.
I was
but-
going to say, but.
Yeah.
Because me
But
and
that's
Matt were going
part
to
of the
put
point
Romancing
of-
the Stone on, and then he's like, I don't want to buy
it
that."
is part of the
That's
point of
part
this.
of the point of this movie. I mean, of this podcast is,
Movies
we-
that fallen.
yeah, movies are more readily to fall into obscurity if they're not on one of the streaming services.
Yeah.
People only watch what's on the streaming services, and there's so much more out there. Just go to your library, guys. Everybody, just go to your library.
I don't think people know when you say library, like some people, myself included, up until recently, book club, I didn't even know that there were DVDs at the library. Like, I was like, oh, cool, books.
They
moving
had like
on.
seasons of television too.
And
Yeah, they
even on
do.
top of that, they have digital apps like Canopy or Hoopla where you rent movies on digitally. And Canopy is known for doing old foreign indie movies. So
Yeah.
You know what? I didn't check there.
you didn't check.
I forgot
that.
about
should've.
Canopy. That's on my download list.
Anyway.
So that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining us. We'll be posting what our next movie will be on Twitter tomorrow. So head on over there and hit that follow button. You can also follow us on Instagram. Our handle for both is @TheMovieMillies. To find more great episodes, head on over to Podbean, Google Play, Pandora, Spotify, and search for us. We're everywhere now, apparently.
Yeah, you can.
So
Google
until
it.
next time, we're millennials. And we'll see you at the movie house. I'm just going to do it all. It's my birthday. F you guys.
Tracy's here.